Close your eyes. Imagine a place where the wind doesn't just blow, it remembers. Imagine an island where the grass is a deeper green than any emerald, and the mist isn't just weather, it's a veil. A thin silver curtain between the world you see and a world that was forgotten by time, but never truly lost. Welcome to Ireland. Not the island of travel brochures and city lights, but the emerald time capsule, the island of whispers. Before the first king sat on a throne, before the first monk dipped a quill into ink, and long before the first stone of a castle was ever laid, Ireland was a land of wonder. It was a playground for gods, a battlefield for giants, and a sanctuary for magic. Today, we aren't just looking at history. We are stepping through the veil. We are going back to the beginning, to the age of myth, to a time when the mountains were giants and the rivers were gods. Chapter 1. The Coming of the Smoke. In Ireland, the past is never truly silent. It speaks through the landscape. It speaks through the stones. Look at the Boyne Valley. Look at Newgrange, 5,000 years old, built by a people whose names have been lost to the dust of time. Every year, on the winter solstice, a single beam of light pierces the darkness of that ancient tomb. It isn't just engineering, it is a message. It is a heartbeat from the past, reminding us that even in the deepest dark, the light returns. But the stories tell a deeper story than just the sun. They tell of the Tuatha Dé Danann, the people of the goddess Danu. They were the first great inhabitants of this island. They didn't arrive by boat, like ordinary men. The legends say they arrived in a great, dark cloud that blotted out the sun for 3 days and 3 nights. They descended from the northern skies, bringing with them a power that the earth had never felt before. They didn't just live on the land, they became its soul. Chapter 2. The 4 Treasures of Power. First, they brought the Lia Phil, the Stone of Destiny. It was placed at the Hill of Tara, the high seat of kings. They say that when a true king of Ireland stepped upon it, the stone would let out a roar that could be heard across the entire island. Then, there was the Spear of Lugh, a weapon so fierce and so filled with fire that it had to be kept submerged in a vat of poppy juice just to keep it from burning through its own rack. It was the spear of victory, of focus, and of the sun. Third was the Sword of Light, from which no one could escape once it was drawn from its sheath, a blade that cut through the darkness of chaos like a hot iron through wax. And finally, the Cauldron of the Dagda, a vessel of abundance. No company ever left it hungry. It represented the hospitality, the warmth, and the generosity that still defines the Irish heart today. Chapter 3. The Battle of Moytura. But every paradise has its shadow. For the gods of light, that shadow was the Fomorians. If the Tuatha were the gods of art, poetry, and beauty, the Fomorians were the gods of the wild, chaotic dark. They rose from the depths of the sea, monstrous, distorted, and cruel. They represented the storm, the drought, and the winter that refuses to end. The struggle between them wasn't just a war. It was the birth of the Irish spirit. It was the moment the people of this island learned that beauty must be defended. Think of the hero Lugh. Think of him standing on the battlefield of Moytura, facing the giant Balor of the Evil Eye, a creature whose single gaze could destroy an entire army. Lugh didn't win with brute force alone. He won with skill, with timing, and with the courage to face the impossible. Chapter 4. The Great Retreat in to the Mounds. Time, however, is the one thing no magic can stop. Eventually, the era of the gods had to end. A new people arrived, the Milesians, the ancestors of the modern Irish. They were men of iron and skin, not of mist and light. When they defeated the Tuatha Dé Danann, a bargain had to be struck. The poet Emergin stepped forward. He didn't divide the land by miles or borders. He divided it by layers. He claimed the surface of Ireland for humanity, and he gave the world below to the gods. The Tuatha De Danann didn't leave Ireland. They simply stepped sideways. They moved into the Cid, the hollow hills, the mounds, and the ancient forts. They became the good people, the fairies, the gentry. Chapter 5. The Heroes of the Red Branch. As the gods retreated, heroes rose in their place. Men like Cíchulainn, the Hound of Ulster, a warrior who stood alone at a ford against an entire army to defend his province. He was the embodiment of galore, of doing too much, of fighting too hard, of loving too deeply. He was the son of a god and a mortal woman caught between two worlds. And then there was Fionn mac Cumhaill and the Fianna, the guardians of the wild. Fionn, who gained the wisdom of the world by tasting the salmon of knowledge. They didn't live in palaces, they lived in the forests. They lived by the seasons. They taught us that to be truly Irish is to be connected to the trees, the wolves, and the rain. These aren't just fairy tales for children. They are the blueprints of our character. They are why we value bravery over safety, and why we value wisdom over wealth. So, the next time you stand on an Irish hill and feel the wind pull at your coat, don't just walk on. Stop. Listen. The past isn't behind you. It's right here. It's whispering, and it's waiting for you to tell its story. This is Ireland, the island of whispers, the Emerald Time capsule.